Alright, I've got the soldering iron warmed up. I've got my tools set up, I think. I've pre-scratched these pots, the volume pots, to get that lug grounded against there. I've got a couple capacitors, and most importantly, I've got this diagram from Seymour Duncan website to follow. I've done this many times, but I still think it's important to have that diagram and follow it. So let's get to work here, one wire at a time. I'm a little cramped here for space with the camera, god damn it. It's already a disaster. Let me make sure that's still centered. Okay, that's not bad. Alright, we can deal with that. Alright, now there might be some lulls in the conversation as I work fastidiously on this. But let's start with the pickups that wires. Both Seymour Duncan and DiMarzio have their own scheme, of course. On the Seymour Duncan, the red and the white are tapped together, and the green and the ground. And I took advice from somebody that commented on one of my previous videos about putting the wires in flux beforehand, because some of these wires aren't super good as far as quality goes, and they don't hold solder unless you either take some sandpaper to them, which that's what I was doing previously, or putting some flux. I have this sandpaper in case I need it. This wire should be pretty good. So let's just go from the three-way switch, the ground lug, these two, I suppose, tied together. I think that's true. And that, 2, 3. Well, gosh, no, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, okay. I'm already stumped. Let's go from the bridge volume. Yeah, that's the bridge volume. You know, measure once, cut twice. Okay, so let's see here. We'll take this black wire. Let's get that lug taken care of first. Needle nose are critical to the operation. And you don't really want to hold a hot soldering iron in the back of this pot forever, because it will eventually damage the pot with enough heat. So it's something to be mindful of. Scratch the surface there. It's usually got like some wax some kind of coating there that prohibits solder from sticking. So just kind of rough that up. Let's see what we can get. This is some thick solder. You can put a little solder on your iron first to kind of get it going. That should do the trick. It's not great. I should have done that lug as well. Let's see if this one works better. Okay. I think that's good. Now, we gotta go from bridge, left lug, bridge, right lug, to the tone. Just kind of giving it a J hook for additional support. And I'm leaving plenty of slack just in case I have to adjust it a little bit once it gets into the cavity of the guitar, you know. And since this also is sharing a spot with the pickup, I think it is. Bridge volume, going to the left tone. That's good. And the black pickup from the bridge, black wire from the bridge is going there as well. And I think the DiMarzio is the red wire, however. So we will get that in there too. Takes a very steady hand. And we will get that first pickup in there. That's the ground. Okay. All right, let's do that. We can commit. We can always uncommit later. So bridge pickup going into the bridge volume and regard. Yeah, that's good. All right, we're on our way. It's going to take a while. It's a little tedious. Sometimes I have to take a break after I get 2 wires soldered. That's what I'm already talking about, taking a break. Okay. And then we will, let's see, where's that 3-way go? To the middle bridge, and then it goes to the middle. Okay, we'll figure that out. Yeah, I'm just worried about this. I believe that is the ground. Hot. Yeah, okay. I think that's right. I think these go together to form the ground. And then this is the hot going to the jack, and these two each go to the respective pot. But I'm gonna kick that for later. All right, let's get the neck going. Neck volume, the right. Blackwater, and going over to the left tone. Okay, good. Now we have that wire's a little short, but it'll do, I guess. No, let's get that in later. Don't worry about that later. Okay, let's get these caps in. And we're gonna scratch those up too. Alright. Well, it just goes from the middle lug on the neck. Just like that. Alright, that should do. Okay. Keep your tip clean too, kids. God damn it. There we go. There we go. That's good. Nice, nice. Alright, same thing on the other tone. If you guys ever have any questions or whatever, you can leave it in the comment. Like I said, I've been doing this for many years and sometimes more successful than others. But, you know, just something that if you do it repeatedly, you get really good at it. I don't do it that often, so that's why I have to keep this diagram nearby. I could use some more light in here, honestly. I've got the window open and I've got the overhead light on, but it's still kind of dim to these old eyes. That should be good, yeah. Yeah, that's good. All right, making our way through here. Okay. Get that on there. There we go. All right, making progress, making progress. I'm just looking at this diagram and trying to determine this three-way switch. I think that's gotta be it. So that goes to ground, supposedly. We'll see. We'll take it to that guy, huh? Again, leaving a little bit of slack for stretchability. Okay. All right, let's get that. There we go. There we go. Get that dude on there. Nice, nice. I think I got that. Yeah. Maybe a little more solder on there. That's better. Okay. Ah, shit. I moved that before it was. That's going to cause a cold solder joint, so just get a little more solder on there and let that cool completely this time. Before I start getting all fancy. Okay, that is going to the ground. Point that guy over here. All right, let's see here. Is anything else yeah, we gotta get that there too, so we might as well do that at the same time. See if I can't get these two together. Not bad. Not great. I have to take a screwdriver to that. This is where a third hand can be very handy. But what I'll do is I'll just get a blob of solder on the iron and get that in there. Kind of just get a blob until it's almost falling off. And then hope that adheres to both wires. Looks like it is, kinda. Need to put some more solder on there. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's good. That is pretty good. Of course, that wire's pointing kind of close to that center lug, so we'll just clip that excess off. Okay. And we'll get that guy out a little bit. There we go. That's pretty good, huh? That's pretty good. Yeah. That'll do. We'll have to get some shrink wrap on that. Or a little black tape, whatever. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Good, good, good. Got that grounded. Now, kind of got it so it'll be that way for the neck pickup, and that is okay. That is that neck pickup. Neck pickup is on in that position, so let's get that going. Neck pickup, neck volume going to the middle lug there. All right. Let's use the red wire. That's why I got it. That's why I brought it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? But to the middle. Okay. Oh, this is actually braided wire. We will go ahead and give it a dunk in the flux. Excellent. I'm just examining my solder joints as best I can. Make sure it's got good adhesion and it's not cold. I spent a majority of my career, well, not a majority, I guess it was only like 3 years, but 3-4 years as an electronic tech. And neck volume, right? Neck volume, yep, neck volume. And I got really good at soldering, you know. I did it all day long. Like I was talking about earlier, things come second nature, and techniques just get a lot easier when you're doing it constantly. So I still feel like I'm a pretty good soldering guy or soldering guy, depending on where you're at. I always called it solder. It's solder, man. Solder. All right. It's getting good, making progress here. We'll see if this thing works in the end. Okay, that guy. I'm going to scratch that up a bit. This screwdriver is magnetized and the leads are sticking to it. Let's see how that does. Alright, so let's do the bridge pickup lead for that guy. That's going over here. Should be plenty. It is kind of weird narrating as I'm working. I don't, of course, normally do that. But it's nice to have company, huh? How are you guys doing today? Doing well? That's great. Maybe not so well. That's okay too. We get through it all, man. We're gonna get through it all together. I don't know why I've got the Axel F soundtrack going in my head today. Yesterday it was the Greatest Adventure, sung by somebody Yarborough, for the animated Hobbit movie. God damn it. From 1977, Rankin and Bass, the Hobbit movie. Pretty good. Not as good as the Lord of the Rings animated film, which is, in my opinion, a masterpiece. But the Hobbit's not bad either, man. It's definitely worth your time if you like the Hobbit. I think there's a Return of the King too, and I haven't watched that in many years, so I can't give a recent opinion on the value and merits of that one. Okay. Get that in there. Get in there. Give it a little J hook. And get a blob of solder on it there. We're making progress, folks. Look, it's looking like a wired up thingy. Yeah. That's pretty good. You know, I really should have tested these pots before I soldered everything up, just to make sure. They're all new, but I wasn't really able or confident in salvaging the old pots that were on this thing. And that pickup, this thing, I just don't see that being a quality pickup. It's $5,000 or something. But, I don't know, I might use that for a project or something someday. As I mentioned before, I do have a lot of pickups. Alright, the 3-way is good to go. Well, I guess we need to get the hot going to the tip, hot output. So let's do that. From here, to here. I'm gonna give it a little extra on this one, just to make sure. You know, excuse my sniffling, I have eternal allergies. And I sniff a lot, man. I had a friend in grade school, and I wasn't really aware of my chronic sniffing. And his dad made fun of me. Hurt my feelings, man. It sticks with me today. He said, "Hey, Todd, how you doing? How you doing, Todd?" I was like, "Oh, man, I do that, don't I? You're a dick." But I became a little self-conscious of that after that beratement. But I still do it because I can't help it, you know? It's like Tourette syndrome or something. Fuck, shit, fuck, cock. It's just something I cannot help. And it becomes kind of second nature. Just anyway, enough of my chronic weirdness. All right, which one of these guys is the tip? It's the outer one. Yeah, outer. There it is. It's that one. We're going there, kids. Cardboard slipping up a little. That ain't bad though. Let's just crimp that up. It's better. All right. Yeah, you know, these things, you just got to take your time and focus on one connection at a time, man. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, we're moving. We're moving. We're going to have pickups in this thing soon. I mean, I hope it works on first try. To be honest, sometimes it doesn't, though. It's just part of the process. It kind of trial and error and sort it out. If it doesn't work, that's all you can do. All right. We are going to have to get that Seymour Duncan in there. That is the black. And then we got to get that ground. So let's get that in there. Got some friends going to the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Chicago in April. I went with them once when I lived in Illinois, and it was a really good time. That place is impressive. Got a lot of arcade and pinball games there. They actually have a separate building for their pinball. And it's equally as impressive, a little smaller than the arcade, which is one of the biggest in the world. They might have the most video games in the entire universe. Alright, that red and white are soldered. Get them out of the way for now. Take them up later, and let's get that guy over there. But yeah, if you... Where's it? Bolingbrook, I think it is. If you're in the Bolingbrook area in Illinois, and you get a chance, and you have time, do yourself a favor if you like arcade games, and go to the Galloping Ghosts arcade there. It is fantastic. Very impressive. Yeah. All right, let's see. What are we missing here? We need a ground. Yeah, we need a bus. Let's see here. We got ground, neck volume to bridge volume is grounded. Oh, we need to. Yeah, we got that. We got that. We need to get a ground bus going. From here to here, to here, to here, to here. Let's see. They got a ground to that. Ground to that. Yeah, they're all tied together. So, let's do this. I'm going to use that solid core wire. Go from here to here to here to here. And we're going to strip the whole thing. What the hell was that? It's my iPhone ringing. I'll get that later. I will get that later. Okay. This might be a good time to make sure we're still moving. All right, we are. Wow, this is long. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Kind of like the solder, actually. So I'm going to give this a little slack, because again, you know, you don't want it. You don't want to trap yourself. Watch this technique, fellas. And ladies, I understand I might have one female viewer out there, so whoever you are, I appreciate you. YouTube stats, you know. Come on, man. There we go. Just looking to it here. Yeah, there we go. That one's good. The greatest adventure. So he has this tremolo in his voice. It's kind of annoying, but I guess that's his trademark. This Yarborough guy on the Hobbit song, The Greatest Adventure. The greatest adventure. This is not the greatest, actually. I'd like to use something else, but yeah, something non-magnetic, huh? No, not that. Yeah. this one. Yeah, that's kind of what this is for. This crazy soldering tool. This can poke out your eye. All right. Blob of solder. And we'll use that. Very nice. Get over here to this guy. Give it a little slack. Get a blob of solder on there. Do the same thing. Just gotta put that one next to it. Okay. This video is getting a little long in the tooth, but maybe you're like me and you just kind of put stuff on and have it in the background or just kind of watch it. It's kind of therapeutic sometimes. Hopefully it's therapeutic or something for you. Hopefully you enjoy this. And let me know. I don't get a lot of comments, honestly. I don't get a lot of comments. Not a lot of affirmations to know I'm doing satisfactory work from your perspective. So it's nice to hear from you. This is a pretty cool project. It's something I really like to do. This guitar is turning out good. We'll see how the neck and everything goes when we put strings on it. That's kind of nervous. We'll test the truss rod together too. I'm not going to fast forward any of this video. It's kind of off-putting when people do that, I find. Just gonna let it roll naturally, no edits. All right, that is looking good. That is looking good. I think we're done here. I don't know. We got a ground bus. We got a hot wire. We got everything hooked up. I need to black tape those, but that'll wait. That'll wait. All right, I think we're done with the soldering here. Oh, I do have to solder the bridge wire. There is a bridge wire in there that needs to be soldered, so let's get these off of this trusty, faithful cardboard. It worked very well. Let's get them into their holes. Which should be pretty seamless. Start with that. Oh. Yeah, it's not going to be super seamless because it's a tight cavity. Motherfucker. Everything has to be a pain in the ass, huh? That's close enough. I'll get that cinched up when I screw it in. And that's the beauty of using that cardboard. It's pretty much lined up the way you want it to be. Oh, what's going on here? Do I have a thick pot? Do I have a couple thick pots that aren't going to fit in there? You cocksucker. I sure do. These shafts are a little bigger than the guitar. So and that's the not beauty of Yeah, those just aren't gonna go. I'm gonna have to ream that out. Fucker. Well, like I was saying, measure once, cut twice, kids. Yeah, those are extra wide. I'm gonna pause the video while I find my reamer. Alright, I found my reamer. Let's do this the crude hard way. Ah! Alright. Might have to go through the front side too, because you know it's obviously beveled. I got the back pretty good. So just get a little more here. Boy, that wood is dry. It is very dry, huh? I'm sure you can't see this. I apologize. I mean, you don't usually route a guitar out for a potentiometer, but these are unusual circumstances, right? Unusual. Okay, let's see if that does it. These guys go in. Well, these guys go in now. Yeah. Ah, shit. Lost a solder joint. Manhandle it. We'll get that sorted out. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. Alright, well, at least they're going in now. We'll get those attached. This guy doesn't want to go in, huh? You gotta be kidding me. The input jack too? Oh man, unbelievable. The input jack is too big. Alright, Japan, why you do that? Why you do that? Okay. They're all in-ish. There we go. All right. Okay. That does not have much. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. One. Hilarious. These tone pots are big, so they're gonna have special nuts too. I've got special nuts, I'm told. Okay, that's all right. Coming along. Coming along. That's not really... What's going on with that? What's up with that? Oh, when you power down your soldering iron, give it a fresh blob of solder. Keep it tinned. Fresh blob of solder. Alright, what is going on with this? This is not going in there correctly. Shit. Wrong tool. I'm not sure that nut actually fits. Well, maybe it does. It's just got some bad threads down there or something. We'll revisit that. Meanwhile, let's get these others on here. Should I put this poker chip on here? I've got one. Where'd it go? Thought about putting that poker chip on. There it is. Yeah, that'll look good, won't it? It's got enough clearance. Yeah, it's got enough clearance. Yeah, probably. Yeah, how about that? That'll work. All right, remember how I was consternating about the three-way switch? That was the problem. I had the hot as the ground and the ground as the hot. So where those two terminals connect, those are actually connecting the two sides. And the big lug in the middle was in fact the ground. And I should have remembered that from a previous attempt that I failed on. But my memory isn't what it used to be. So I used this original pickup ring because it's so big and it fit in those holes. You can see that I had to modify this one, and I had a couple I had a couple misses on my pilots. They were okay, but the pickup was stuck against the edge. So, you know, you can see this gap here, and there's a gap here. But, you know, I mean, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, folks. And once I get this pick guard on, you know, it's going to be looking pretty good, y'all. Pretty good. So this is going to be a rocker, I think. One thing we do need to test is the truss rod. This neck and these, that's kind of tentative on there, but okay. The neck, you see that? Yeah, you can see that, all right. So let's just see if this truss rod turns and functions. Always go loose at first to the left because it might be seized up. And okay, all right, that's moving. It was working, so that's pretty good. There was a little tension on it, so that's a good sign. The truss rod is working. The frets are not fantastic. There's some divoting in them, and they're kind of low, but that was the way it was. So I did an electronics check. I've got everything cinched up, and it's about ready to rock and roll, folks. You know, got all the soldering taken care of. I just need to tighten up the nuts on all the controls and get this fretboard and the frets polished up, and I'll clean them up with naphtha and get some oil on that fretboard that is probably super dry. And I'm going to take some nail polish and fill these in. As a matter of fact, I'll let you watch that. And then the next thing will be a playing demo, so that will have to wait for part 3 because getting long here, very long. But I will have a playing demo for part 3 in the future. But I will go ahead and see if I can find some nail polish that fits this. Just a quick video here of my progress on the tuners. I did have to ream these out with my trusty reamer because they were too small. And that works just fine. That works just fine. As you can see, these are looking good. I love these hip shot no drill mount. It has these clever plates with little indentations so the tuners won't slip back and forth, so you don't need those screws in there. These are great tuners. This thing's coming along just fine. So there you have it, folks. A beautiful 70s made in Japan Gibson copy. This Aria SG. And you can tell that a lot of fine craftsmanship and care and quality went into the building of this guitar. It feels nice in the hand. It plays nicely. And now it sounds great with those pickup upgrades that I did, and I'm very happy with the way it sounds and the way it feels. You never know until you hold a guitar what it's going to do or how it's going to feel or inspire. These hip shot grip lock no drill mount plate tuners are fantastic. They work great. They make tuning a real pleasure. This is something that a lot of guitars lack, is good tuners. And that's something that's very tactful and you can feel and hear, and it just matters a lot. Good tuners really matter. And I'm also really impressed at how well this thing cleaned up. It was so filthy. You saw all the dust on this thing and all the grime and just complete wear, but it turned out fantastic. Cleaned up great, looks great, sounds great, plays great. The knobs don't all match, but those are the witch hats I had handy. It's just a fine guitar, and I appreciate you coming along this journey with me. Take care of yourselves now, okay? Bye-bye.